Farm for Profit Podcast. Take a listen, have a blast. Farm for Profit Podcast. Learn about farming while having a laugh. Farm for Profit Podcast.
All right, we are hanging out in studio for this What's Working in Ag segment. Still one of my favorite segments. And you remember how these started? This was an idea of Dave's.
It was?
Yeah, it's an idea of Dave's that we've done for years.
Do you remember that, Dave?
It was a good idea.
What's working in ag, maybe.
Really?
Yeah, because you used to go to auction conferences
Yes.
and have the gatherings of what was working for auctioneers. So we figured what is working for all of our listeners and put that all together. And this is a special day. It's being released the Monday before Giving Tuesday, but I would say this message is probably going to resonate no matter what time of year you pick this show up.
That's what a What's Working Ag segment is supposed to do, right?
Yeah. Be
Evergreen?
As evergreen as possible. So it starts off being timely or not. But we're happy to have in our studio Terry Johnston from the Farm Rescue Organization. We all got cool hats. We're all matching.
Yeah?
Yeah.
I had to change my shirt because I didn't want to wear the same shirt as you, but
Oh,
I'll wear the same hat.
so I got to change shirts next so you can go back into this shirt?
Right.
Yeah.
All right. You're wasting his time. He's only got a limited amount of time here. Welcome to the podcast, Terry.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate you having me on.
This is your first time being on the Farm for Profit podcast, which is almost a shame for us to say that.
It is. It is. Well, better late than never, right?
I mean, it's the first time you physically being on, but we have definitely supported and talked about farm rescue, especially in our works with John Deere
Absolutely.
and
Yep.
the Bush Light Combine and all that kind of stuff. So it's been fun to do that. It's great to finally have you on the actual mic.
And
You're a Iowan as well.
I am an Iowan. Yeah. Parkersburg, Iowa.
All right. So first of all, for the listeners that don't know, what is Farm Rescue?
Yeah. So we're a nonprofit, volunteer-based program. We cover 9 states. So Minnesota, North Dakota, South Dakota, Montana, and then Iowa, Nebraska, Kansas. Illinois last year was a new state for us. And then this year we added Wisconsin. So we serve farm and ranch families in those 9 states.
How do you decide where you go? You said you added Wisconsin. How did you decide to add Wisconsin?
Yeah, so it depends on a lot of different factors, but of course, curiosity, people courting us, as it
Demand,
were,
maybe.
demand,
Yep.
and sponsorship. We have local, regional, and national sponsors like Bush Light, for example, and Anheuser-Busch gave us these awesome hats, and so. And they're contiguous states, also states that. So what we do for the families, I should talk about that a little bit. So we do harvesting, planting, haying, and commodity hauling, and livestock feeding. And so it kind of makes sense to go out contiguously for management of equipment. We own, rent, lease all of our own equipment. So moving that around logistically, it makes sense to kind of go out to the bordering states. We started in North Dakota in 2005. So we kind of want to stay within our bailiwick too, things we know how to take care of, which is row crops, small grains, cattle, that sort of a thing.
So when I think of your name, Farm Rescue, when I think rescue, I think of an emergency. Is it when do you guys get deployed into the emergency?
Yeah, exactly right. So it could be we call it crisis or a hardship, but that can mean different things. So for sure, like a major injury or illness would be a reason for a family to reach out and ask us for help, something that would impede them physically or mentally, whatever, from getting a crop in or getting it out or taking care of the livestock. And then also natural disasters is another reason we get summoned. So that can be, planting crops after a tornado, maybe all their equipment was wiped out, or a blizzard, or we haul a lot of hay following these wildfires, for example, into blizzard situations where they can't get to their feedstocks. There's a lot of reasons, we can help folks after a tough time. So, yeah.
There's been no shortage of natural disasters, it seems like, the last few years either.
An abundance, as a matter of fact. Yeah. Yes.
So how many families have been helped through the program?
So great question, Tanner. So we've helped since our inception. We were founded in 2005. Our first case was in 2006. And so since then, almost 1,200 families. And this last year, for example, we kind of keep track in a fiscal year. We helped 102 families from June of last year to July 1 of this year. And that was kind of broken. If you break it down, about 55 or 6 of those we were considered farming cases. So that would be either planting or harvest or haying, mostly planting and harvest. And then if you guys remember the wildfires this early past spring, late winter, Nebraska and Oklahoma and Texas, we ended up helping about 46 families hauling hundreds and hundreds of big round bales of hay down there. Now, we don't technically serve Texas and Oklahoma, but we had a special request from some of the cattle folks and Farm Bureau from down there. We were able to get extra resources from some of our sponsors. They stepped up to help us with covering the cost of the trucks and the volunteers, meals, of course, expensive fuel, hotels. And so we were able to help those folks, and so we're very, very happy to do that.
So is that how this is done, through sponsors, or how is Farm Rescue funded?
Yeah, 100%. So we're not affiliated with any government organization. We're just a private nonprofit, and so just the generosity of our corporate and individual sponsorships and donors is how we fund everything. And we're very grateful for the folks. They've been amazing, and not only do they help us support the cause, but they're also very effective in helping us find families. You guys probably know that farm families are very proud, and they're very shy or hesitant to ask for help, and so we rely a lot on referrals. So maybe that comes from their seed dealer or the local John Deere dealer. John Deere, of course, as you guys know, one of our great longtime partners, actually from the very beginning, and so. We really appreciate the financial support, but we also really appreciate it when they let us know one of their families, one of their customers is hurting, and they pass along their information to us so we can help them.
I'm just trying to think of the scope of this. I know how much a combine costs, right? Cheap one's $500,000, it seems like, and an expensive one is $1 million now, and you probably have a bunch of those. Right?
So we only own one combine.
Okay.
We rent or lease another. Depends on the season, 5 to 8.
Still 5 to 8?
Yeah.
Then the crews to man that.
Correct. And so you hotel rooms and meals, but we do own several tractors. We own several of the articulating big tractors with air seeders for kind of the Northern Plains area. Then several of the 8,000 series tractors and planters for this part of the country. Multiple semis, multiple pickup trucks. Of course, we have to carry tools and all that kind of stuff. We got to keep our equipment moving, and so yes, it's very expensive, and we're going to focus. 2025 is technically our 20th anniversary.
That's right,
and so we're very excited about that, and we're going to be very focused on fundraising and finding partners. Like everybody else, we don't like to talk about money. We don't want to ask for money. But the fact is, as you mentioned, it's very expensive to own, operate, and execute farming practices. And so we want to be able to serve more families. And I'm guessing, it took us 19 years to get to 1,200 families. I'm guessing that next 1,200 is going to come much sooner, much quicker. Things like this help us get the word out. And that means we're going to serve more families, even within the 9 states we're in. And then, eventually expanding into more states. And so we're going to be really focused on fundraising and being responsible with our donors' money, but increasing that, get a little cushion there. We've kind of overspent this past year, and that's okay. We don't want to turn anybody away for that reason.
Yep.
And so far we've been blessed. Our sponsors have always stepped up and helped. And we're getting new ones every day, and so we love those partners.
And you're doing it with a limited staff because the staff itself is relatively small. You utilize a lot of volunteers.
That is correct. We have a network of around 600 volunteers. They do the work, okay? So they're the ones running the planter, the tractor, the combine, the seed tender, the grain cart, whatever it is. The volunteers are doing that work. So we just have a small staff. I think there's 9 of us, and 2 are part-time, our volunteer coordinators. So we run pretty lean, covering 9 states. But we can do an amazing amount of work because of our volunteers. These guys, these folks are amazing. They're selfless. They're dedicated. They're just amazing people, and we couldn't do it without them.
Yeah. So maybe you don't have a ton of funds to give. You could actually give time.
Exactly.
Right? If you're skilled.
Yep.
So how do they do that?
Yeah. So you can. We should talk about that a little bit. So our website is farmrescue.org. And that's a great place to go for a lot of things. And number one, of course, signing up and being a volunteer. is one way to do that. You can fill out a simple application and kind of put the information in there about yourself, what you like to do, what your strengths are, where you're at, how many days a year you can help, if you have a geographic preference. And then folks can go there also to apply for help if you need assistance. Simple, very simple application. And then we'll reach out and talk with you in person. And then they can donate there, which is something that's very appreciated. So, you can kind of do all of the above there. Refer a family is very easy to do there as well. So,
If people are donors and they want to give you money, what is the best vehicle to get that to you?
So again, if they want to go to our website and they can make a donation online, and we have folks that do one-time donations. We have others that do it ongoing, right? So it's just a monthly commitment that they make to us, and we have a special opportunity coming up in February. I know we have Giving Tuesday coming up, which is awesome. But we're putting together a pool of funds through a project called Giving Hearts Day. This is up in the Northern Plains. They've been doing this for a number of years. But we're basically what we're doing is putting together a fund of funds that can be matched. Okay, so we're working on putting together up to $500,000, which we have commitments from folks that will match up to that. So our goal is to raise $1 million, and so we're excited about that. We've never done that before, but we feel good about it, and the base foundation for that has been laid, and people are being very generous, and we're excited about that. So that'll be another opportunity for folks if they want to really have giving muscle. Basically, for every dollar you give, believe that's February 13th. People can double check me on that, Giving Hearts Day.
And it's a lot of fun. We've got an episode that's coming up that talks a little bit about tax planning. And this is a tax deduction for those that give, correct?
That is correct.
Yep.
And people do a lot of different things. Corey mentioned, well, what if you don't have cash? You guys probably heard about the Farm All 450 that was donated to us from one of our supporters. And so we had that at the Farm Progress Show. We had that on view. And the good folks at Big Iron offered to auction it off for us and charge no commissions, let the proceeds go to Farm Rescue. So that was a great way for that person to give and for us to maximize that. And of course, we got to talk to a lot of different people about that. So it was kind of a nice story. And so there's a lot of different ways. Fundraising is also another thing we can do together with folks and get a community together and do a fundraiser that way, maybe a silent auction, live auction, or
Dave does galas every night.
Yeah,
every weekend.
Got one tonight.
Fundraising.
Yeah, definitely.
There you go.
Do you ever do endowments if somebody's going to pass away, have nobody to leave their farmland to, etc.? Is there an endowment fund with Farm Rescue?
Awesome point. Yes, absolutely. We have a planned giving. I don't know what you call it, not a department, but we have the ability to do that.
Okay.
So, for example, there was several people this fall that gave us their part or all of their crop. And so we sold it through their co-op, and they were able to, get the tax benefits and those kind of things. So again, we can get very creative with whatever is the best for the person to make the donation. We appreciate any and all gifts, and absolutely we can do that.
That's good. And it's www.farmrescue.org for people to be able to jump in and learn more about it.
Absolutely.
Great. Well, thanks for hanging out with us.
Oh, it's been my pleasure, guys. Let's do it again sometime.
Yeah, long time coming. I think it'll have to happen again.
Yeah, for sure.